I know it can't be the only one that is so sick and tired of wearing those boring ass, fresh, clean, citrusy summer colognes. I just want to smell like a sweet and sexy vanilla baby, and if you're watching this, you probably do too. I live in Australia and we're actually going into the summer right now, so if you live in Australia, this might not be the most helpful video for you. However, in the UK, it is always cold, and in the US, I believe you guys are going into your winter. Winter is coming for you guys. We're going to be ranking the most hyped up winter colognes of 2024 into a tier list so you can find out which ones are the best. Let's kick it off with Parfums de Male Althair. I believe this came out in 2023, but it just keeps on growing in popularity. Does that surprise me? Not a single bit. This stuff is so addictive. It's one of those fragrances that truly just does get better each and every time you smelt it. When I first smelt it, I was a day one kind of hater of this fragrance, to be completely honest with you guys. I went into my local David Jones, which if you guys don't know is a fragrance department type store in Australia, and I was very, very underwhelmed. I don't know what it was. I just thought it smelled too basic. I had recently gotten Mercedes-Benz Club Black, which does have very similar elements to it, and it does cost it a lot less. So I was kind of like, why would I get this when Mercedes-Benz Club Black is about a quarter of the price? However, I just didn't give it enough of a chance. I only tried it on a tester strip. I should have tried it on skin. It just opens up beautifully. It's a very thick and high quality smelling vanilla, but you also get a really nice blast of cinnamon in there, and also this kind of orange blossom. It kind of smells like an orange creamsicle. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It is very delicious. In my opinion, it is pretty much a gourmand. It has some freshness, so you could use it all year round theoretically, but in my opinion, this is best suited for those really, really cold winter months. Performance on this thing is absolutely crazy. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like a beast mode fragrance, but I mean, I'm getting 9-10 hours longevity with moderate projection. I mean, 4 or 5 sprays, everyone is going to be smelling you. This is the fragrance you wear when you just want to know you're going to be the best smelling guy no matter where you go. It's a very safe and mass appealing choice for an expensive niche fragrance. There's nothing difficult, unique, or complex about it, but that's okay. Not every fragrance needs to be like that. For me, this is going to slot right into the A tier. When I first smelled it, it was in the C tier, and honestly, it just keeps getting better for me. It could one day be in the S tier. That's how good this fragrance is. But for now, we're going to go with the A tier. Oh. Let's discuss a fragrance that literally just came out here in Australia a month ago. I don't know when other countries got access to it, probably a lot earlier, and that is Valentino the Gold. Now this one is a kind of under the radar release. I haven't seen it picking up much hype. The bottle is so gorgeous though. I love the bottle, and I actually think it does smell a lot better than the Fragrantica reviews are letting it on to be. Fragrantica is kind of trashing this fragrance right now. I think it's sitting at a 3.7 out of 5. Interestingly, the woman's version of this fragrance, which I also have, is reviewed a lot higher, and I do think it smells better and more unique. If I was a woman, I would probably be wearing that. However, I do still really like this fragrance for the winter. In terms of the Valentino Born in Roma line, it is definitely the most vanilla and amber forward fragrance. It just doesn't have all that much else going on for it, so I can see why a lot of people were disappointed by this release. On top of that, it sits at a retail price of around 200 Aussie dollars for this 100ml, and for an eau de toilette fragrance that only lasts around 6 or 7 hours with okay projection, again, I can see why the reviews are being quite hyper-critical. It just does smell so addictive and damn good. The opening is definitely different enough to the other Valentinos where I don't feel like it was redundant for me to buy this fragrance. I just think the dry down, it kind of does just all the Valentinos do just kind of mash into one, except a couple exceptions like One More Intense and maybe Green Extravaganza. But if you already own Born in Roma Intense, Coral Fantasy, I would say at least try this one first. I think there's a good chance you might find they're just all too similar for this, for you to see that this one's worth the money. However, I just do think it's a solid pickup, especially if it's your first ever Valentino fragrance. I think you will be really impressed by this one, and it is versatile enough where I wouldn't say it's just a winter fragrance. Like most of the other Valentinos, you can use them all year round. I'm going to slot this one into the B tier. I might be being a little bit generous, but I am a sucker for just a solid Valentino smelling fragrance. They all do have a very distinct smell. It's good stuff. Definitely try it first though, because it's expensive, but it's good stuff. In fact, I'm actually about to go to the gym. I'm going to make this my signature scent for the gym because I just want to show you guys the versatility. Oh, yeah, it's good. It's fucking good. There's nothing, it's good. It's just good. Gucci Guilty Elixir. This is a very new release. It might have even come out this year or 2023. However, it's quite tragic because it seems to have fallen under the radar. I have a couple of reasoning potentials for this. One would be the bottle design is not particularly attractive. It looks like a $30 cologne sold at your local chemist, but it is a fragrance sold by the luxury brand Gucci at a very, very high price point. I believe this one's around 250 Australian dollars. But if you can move past the bottle design, I actually do think it is one of the very few designer fragrances that are worth that high price tag. This is an extremely masculine, powerful, and bold fragrance. If you really want to make a statement and you want everyone to know you're coming into a room, this is the fragrance you wear. Definitely one of the strongest designer fragrances I've tried. It's a 3 to 4 spray beast mode type of fragrance. At least 12 hours longevity. In terms of the smell, it strongly reminds me of something like the original Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male, but made a lot more modern. Obviously improved the performance and just improved the blend and the quality of the ingredients. So if you like those kind of more old school fragrances, almost like a masculine barbershop fragrance, but it's added also some creaminess in there too, and a little bit more vanilla. So it's not fully barbershop, but I would say it takes elements from those old school very masculine heavy fragrances and incorporates them into a more modern fragrance release. This is a fragrance I don't regret having in my collection, and it's probably one I will never sell. But in terms of what I like, it just does not fit that bill. I don't really see myself wearing this anytime soon. The only exception I could see is maybe on a cool night with a suit and a tie, really dressed up fancy occasion. I just don't really see it. I'm more of a kind of, not basic, probably basic. In terms of a rating on this tier list, I'm going to actually slot this one to the A tier. Now, personally, I would put it in the B tier. However, objectively, I can see why it's loved by so many people and why it's such a well-received and great release from Gucci. So I'm going to put it in the A tier and give it the respect that it deserves. Mancera Amore Caffe, another 2023 release, I believe, but it just continues to pick up hype all over social media. All the Manceras have that beautiful pressurized atomizer. This is actually my second bottle of Amore Caffe. I picked up the first one in London. I paid full retail for it, and it was just so hard to get in Australia at the time, and I was craving a bottle. It is a delicious, almost burnt caramel, toffee-smelling fragrance. A lot of similarities to something like Strong With You Intensely, but made even more sweet and gourmand. There is almost no freshness in this fragrance. It is just sweet, sexy, all up in your face type of fragrance. I actually believe one of the notes is literally vanilla ice cream and also espresso or coffee. So what you're getting is a dark roasted, extremely sweet vanilla caramel toffee fragrance with Mancera type performance. You guys know Mancera fragrances are very, very strong. This one is no exception. 10 hours longevity with strong projection and sillage. This is a 3, maybe 4 sprays maximum type of fragrance. Everyone is going to smell you. You're going to smell delicious. You just have to have the confidence to pull this off. I'm going to be putting this one in the A tier. I personally really enjoy it, but it's not something I reach for a lot because it's rare that I just want to smell this sweet and this loud. It comes occasionally. It's just not something I'm going to be wearing, every week or even every month. Yet another 2023 fragrance release from Althair, and it is Althair Khamrah Qahwa. I've been having a lot of people climb my neck for how I'm pronouncing the word Qahwa. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But apparently it means coffee in like Arabic or some language. But yeah, what you're getting is the Althair Khamrah smell with some dark roasted coffee. What does Althair Khamrah even smell like? The original one? But essentially, it's a very, very warm, sweet, boozy fragrance dumped with a ton of cinnamon, praline, and dates. Super rich, super wealthy smelling, all in your face. Perfect for date nights or when you got a girl to impress. You guys know what I mean. This one here though is actually my preferred choice of the two currently, because that coffee note, it just kind of tones down the sweetness, the richness aspect of it, makes it more wearable. just, it makes it even more enjoyable to wear. Just when I thought Lattafa Khamrah couldn't get any better as a fragrance, I tried this and my life was honestly changed. I do find the performance of the Khamrah Qahwa version isn't quite as good, which honestly is just a little bit, it's a bit of a shame, but it's still strong enough where most people won't have any complaints with it. For the winter, honestly, for the price that this is at, around 40 USD, probably maybe as cheap as 30 if you get it from the right places. This fragrance is a robbery. It is a no-brainer if you haven't already gotten either the original Lattafa Khamrah or Lattafa Khamrah Qahwa. What are you doing? Why are you still watching this video? Get onto your nearest fragrance discounter and buy it right now. It is that good. For me, this is going to slot right into the S tier. You can't make a video talking about hyped up winter fragrances and not talk about at least one Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance. I'm going to talk about my favorite, Le Male Parfum. I was going to talk about Le Male Elixir, which might actually be even more popular than this one. But a lot of you guys already know my opinion on Le Male Elixir. I think in terms of a compliment puller, it is the best from the Jean Paul Gaultier line. But in terms of actual smell and wearability, it is too sweet and too headache-inducing for my personal preferences. That's where the Male Parfum comes in, because it adds that iris note. It tones down the overall kind of syrupy sweetness aspect of it. Don't get me wrong, it still smells sweet and sexy. It has a nice dose and blast of kind of some sort of vanilla. However, the iris note, it just smells more classy. It's more elevated. It's more sophisticated. If Le Male Elixir is for 16 to 20-year-olds, this is kind of your early 20s, late 30s type of going out winter fragrance. I like this stuff so much that I ended up committing and buying this huge 200 ml. I didn't even know Jean Paul Gaultier offered 200 ml fragrances, but this video is your sign to stop pussing out and buying little 100, but come on, we don't even need 100 mils when you got this huge 200 mil. I don't even know if I can handle what's back here though. Jesus, look at that. In terms of a rating, you guys should already know this one is going to go into the S tier. I will admit, I did almost consider A tier for a minute there just because personally I haven't been wearing this, but I'm not going to let the fact that I haven't been wearing it that much take down my overall thoughts and opinion about this fragrance, because I'm almost certain that, you know, at any point I'm about to go on a spree of wearing this every single day, because that's just what happens with this type of fragrance. It just smells so addictive. It's so fun to wear. The performance is great, but it's not too overpowering where you're going to annoy yourself or someone else like you may with Le Male Elixir. And overall, it's just a fantastic pickup, and I'm always going to recommend this fragrance, honestly. The final fragrance we are going to be ranking in this video is this one right here, Azzaro, the Most Wanted EDP. Now, this could be changed out for Strong With You Intensely. I just find they smell so similar that there's really no point including both on this tier list. Both are honestly fantastic fragrances. I'm just going to say it right now. Both are in either the A or S tier. This one personally, I'm going to put in the A tier. It's a caramel, toffee, super sweet and decadent smelling fragrance. It's almost gourmand, but I wouldn't say it's quite there. It's fresh enough where you could use this almost all year round, except for, you know, those super hot summer days. How this differs from Strong With You Intensely, I would say that this one here is actually even more sweet than Strong With You Intensely, and I find that this one projects longer, but I actually find Strong With You Intensely lasts longer. You're going to have to try both. There are some very slight nuanced differences. You're probably going to have one that you prefer more than the other. Personally, I do prefer Strong With You Intensely by just a touch. I also think it can be dressed up a bit more. This fragrance smells a little bit more youthful and juvenile. It's kind of a more F-boy scent, honestly. It's the best way to put it. Whereas Strong With You Intensely smells like something even a 30-year-old could dress up in a suit and a tie, and it wouldn't seem that out of place. That is going to wrap this video up on ranking the most hyped up winter fragrances of 2024 into a tier list. Let me know what you guys thought of the video. Like, subscribe, do your thing down in the comments. Let me know what type of videos you guys want to see next, and I'll catch you in the next one.